When you look at something and your body says yes and your mouth says maybe one day, you're not being humble and you're not actually being smart with money either. Your desire is not the problem. Your desire is the instruction. Your desire is not a distraction from your life. Your desire is the GPS. There is a real engine underneath this, and once you see it, I can tell you, you cannot unsee it. The money is actually the last thing to arrive, not the first. You don't get the money and then become her. You become her, and then the money comes to find you. She does not check her bank balance to decide what she is allowed to want. She knows what she wants first. The number is just pure logistics. It's a how. It's never a whether. Welcome to Rich and Regulated, where women learn to build wealth in alignment and flow. I'm Jessica Soul. For over a decade, I've helped women create the lives of their dreams, and here I'll share how I build wealth, fast-track results, and reveal money truths that will blow your mind. Let's get wealthy. Babe, I want to start with something small. Something you probably do without even noticing. You're scrolling or walking past a window, you're on a website, and your eye goes straight to something. A jacket, a house, a trip, a new watch. And here's the funny part. It's almost always the most expensive one in the room, right? You didn't read the price first, you just felt the pull. And then half a second later, your eyes find the number, and something in your chest does this quiet little drop, and you tell yourself the line. You know the line, maybe one day. And then you keep scrolling and you think you just had a tiny moment of wanting something that you can't have. But that's not what happened, not even close. What actually happened is that part of you that already knows exactly who she is just raised her hand in the back of the room, and you told her to sit down. And that is what this whole episode is about. It's about her. The version of you that already has the money. Because I don't think she's in the future, babe. I think she's been trying to get your attention for years, and you keep calling her unrealistic. And unrealistic is just unfamiliar to who you're being right now. So let me say that again, because this is the whole point. When you look at something and your body says yes and your mouth says maybe one day, you're not being humble and you're not actually being smart with money either. You are confusing two completely different words. You think the thing is unrealistic, and it's not unrealistic. It's unfamiliar. It doesn't fit with who you're being today. And so your brain files it under impossible to keep you safe and small and exactly where you've always been. And we mistake that flinch for wisdom. And I can tell you, babe, it's not wisdom. It's just a habit wearing a very convincing outfit. And so here's the reframe I want to hand you today. And I want you to actually take it, not just nod at it. Your desire is not the problem. Your desire is the instruction. Your desire is not a distraction from your life. Your desire is the GPS. Most women have been quietly taught the opposite, that wanting is a bit greedy. Wanting more, especially with money, especially out loud, is something you should manage and shrink and potentially apologize for. Wanting a beautiful home, wanting to never check the price of a tag at the supermarket, wanting freedom that doesn't have to ask anyone for permission. We learned to treat those wants like cravings, like sugar, like something to resist. And so we spend years as women resisting the exact signal that was trying to show us the way. Because the desire was never the distraction, the resistance was. The pull you feel towards the expensive thing is actually not you being frivolous. It's a coordinate. It's your future self leaving a trail of breadcrumbs going this way, babe. I'm over here, come find me. And every time you say, maybe one day, you're literally brushing the breadcrumbs off the table. Maybe one day is just today wearing a disguise so that you don't have to be brave yet. Now, I need to show you the actual mechanism behind this, because I'm not interested in you feeling nice for 16 minutes and then going back to exactly how you were. This is not the vibe. There is a real engine underneath this, and once you see it, I can tell you, you cannot unsee it. So here's the real reason this works, and it's got nothing to do with magic. There are actually three moving parts, and the first one is your assumption. So what you quietly assume is true about yourself and your life. Not what you say in your affirmations, what you actually believe in your bones when nobody is watching. The second part is who you are being. Your assumptions decide who you're being because you behave in line with what you believe is true. And the third part, the one that everyone wants to skip straight to, is what you have, your results, your money, your life. And here is where almost everyone gets the order backwards. They think you get the money first and then you become her. You hit the number and then you feel calm, and then you'll stop flinching at the price tags, and then you'll carry yourself differently. Then you'll be her. So they sit there waiting, being the old version of themselves, doing what the old version does, getting what the old version gets, and wondering why nothing is changing. But the engine runs the other way. Your assumption changes who you're being. Who you're being changes what you do, and what you do day after day changes what you have. It goes assumption, then identity, then behavior, then result. The money is actually the last thing to arrive, not the first. You don't get the money and then become her. You become her and then the money comes to find you. And I want you to really sit in that because it's the most freeing thing I know. It means you are not waiting on the market. You are not waiting on a launch, on a bonus, on a man or a windfall or some perfect future Tuesday when everything finally lines up. You're not waiting for the money to give you permission to become that woman. You get to become her now, today, in the small, unglamorous decisions that nobody is going to clap for. So let me paint the picture of her for you properly, because I want you to be able to feel her in the room, not just understand her as a concept. She does not check her bank balance to decide what she is allowed to want. She knows what she wants first. The number is just pure logistics. It's a how. It's never a whether. The old version of you opens the banking app and lets that number tell her who she is for the day. If it's up, she feels expansive. If it's down, she shrinks. She cancels things. She goes quiet. She tells the kids no to something small and feels that little sting. Her whole identity is being dictated by a figure on the screen that, by the way, the banks and the markets can move around whenever they like. So she has outsourced her sense of self to a number she doesn't even control. The new version of you, however, she's read it the other way around. She decides who she is, then the number rises to meet her over time because of who she's being. She's not arrogant about it. She's not loud. She's just rooted. She moves through her day like a woman who knows the money is coming because she's already living as the woman it's coming to. She invests in herself before she can, unquote, afford it because she understands that her own growth is the actual asset. And everything else is downstream of that. She's not waiting for permission from anyone. Not the market, not her partner, not her accountant, not some expert, not the version of her the economy, the news told her to be scared of this week. She educates herself. She takes responsibility for her money. She learns how this world actually works so that nobody gets to do her thinking for her. That's the energy. Just quickly, guys, if you're a woman who's earning well but still feels like your money isn't working for you, I can help. My Build Your Wealth portal is the perfect place to begin, and for less than $100 a month, I'll teach you the exact groundwork that has allowed me to create freedom for my family. Just hit the link in the show notes to connect into my community today. Now back to the episode. And here's the thing about her with money specifically, because this is our world. She's not reckless. The new you isn't the woman who throws her savings at something shiny because a man on the internet was confident. She's sovereign, which is a completely different thing. She owns her decisions. She understands that anything worth doing carries real risk, that markets are wild and they don't owe her a smooth ride, that some months the spreadsheet's going to look amazing and some months it's going to blow up in your face, and that is just the cost of being in the game. She doesn't pretend it's safe. She just refuses to be a passenger in her own financial life. She holds her own keys. She knows what she owns and why. Not your keys, not your coin, babe. She lives that. Now, I can feel some of you pulling back right about now. I love you for it, but it means you're sharp, and sharp women don't swallow things whole. So let's say the objection out loud, the one that you're thinking, right? This isn't just woo-woo. This isn't just delusion. This isn't me sitting on a cushion with my eyes closed, visualizing a Maserati while my actual life stays exactly the same. My honest answer is, well, yes, it is kind of a delusion. I'm not going to dance around that. From where you're standing right now, deciding to be a woman who has more than you've ever had absolutely does look delusional, because right now it's unfamiliar. But here's what nobody tells you. The delusion itself is the strategy, because the delusion is what changes your behavior. It's not couch visualizing. I'm not telling you to imagine money and wait for it, because that does nothing, and you know it does nothing. The reason the delusion works is that the moment you decide something is true about yourself, your standards change. And when your standards change, your decisions change in real life with your real hands. You start saying no to things that the old you tolerated. You stop undercharging. You stop letting your money sit somewhere doing nothing because you were too scared to learn. You answer emails like a woman who's going somewhere. You walk into rooms differently. You stop shrinking the second the price tag appears. And instead, you ask a better question, which is, okay, what would the woman who has this be doing right now? So the delusion isn't the daydream. The delusion is the decision, and the decision shows up in your behavior by lunchtime. And that's why it's not woo-woo, because woo-woo is passive. This is the most active thing I know. And let me give you a little bit of a picture of it, because I've worked with women who came to me with the same nervous system every single time. Capable, smart, often running a whole household and a business with maybe 3 other people's lives in their hands. And yet the second money came up, they'd go soft and apologetic, like they were asking for too much just by wanting to understand it. And the shift every time didn't start with a number. It started with her deciding she was allowed to be a woman who knows things about money. Just that. And from that one assumption, everything else moved. She started learning. She started asking better questions. She stopped handing her decisions over to other people. The results came later, and they came because she had become the kind of woman results happen to, not the other way around. And I think about it like learning to walk into the good restaurant, right? You know the one, like the first time, you feel like a fraud, right? You over-explain to the waiter, you're hyper-aware, you order like the second cheapest thing on the menu because the cheapest is too obvious, and you go back. And one day you walk into that restaurant and your shoulders are just down, and you order what you actually want, and nobody questions you, least of all yourself. Nothing about the restaurant changed. You changed. You became familiar. The unrealistic became the unremarkable, just by you being there enough times. That is all becoming her is. You're just visiting her life enough that it stops feeling borrowed and it starts feeling like yours. What you assume is yours becomes yours. And I mean that very practically. The things you assume without drama, without needing to earn them first, those are the things you organize your life around without even noticing. The woman who assumes she'll always figure out money behaves completely differently to the woman who assumes she's just bad with it. Same intelligence, same hours in the day, wildly different lives. And the entire difference started as an assumption neither of them ever questioned. And so if you only take one thing from this whole episode, take this. You are not too much. You've just been living in a body that was too small for what you actually want. And the want isn't the problem. The want is correct. The want is honest. The only thing that's been off is the size of the identity you've been trying to fit into. And that, my love, you can change today, not in 5 years, today. Which brings me to one thing I actually want you to do this week, because I refuse to let this be a nice feeling for you that you forget by Friday. So here's the takeaway, and I want you to name it and keep it. Make one decision today as her. One. Not your whole life, not a grand plan, just one decision today made by the version of you that already has the money. It can be tiny, and it probably should be for the first time. Maybe it's the price tag thing. You see the thing, you feel the pull, and instead of saying maybe one day, you just ask, what would she choose? And then you let her answer. and you act on it. Even if the action this week is just, I'm going to learn how this actually works instead of staying scared of it. Maybe she books the call. Maybe she opens the account she's been avoiding. Maybe she finally stops letting her bank balance pick her mood for the day because she just says the number out loud, the real one, the one you usually whisper, and just doesn't apologize after. The point isn't the size of the decision. The point is who's making it. You're rehearsing her in advance. You're visiting her life. And every time you decide as her, you make her a little more familiar. And unfamiliar is the only thing that was ever standing between you and the thing you wanted. So here's the one move for the week, and it changes everything. Stop asking what you can afford and start asking what she would do, because that question quietly hands the steering wheel back to the woman who was always meant to be driving. And look, if listening to all of this has lit something up inside of you, if you felt her in the room while I was talking, that pull is not an accident. And I don't want you to walk back into maybe one day, the second this episode ends. If you actually want to become the woman who understands her own money, who holds her own keys, who stops being a passenger and learns this world properly with other women who get it, that's exactly what we do inside of Crypto for Women. So come and be in the room where becoming her is the normal thing to do, not the delusional one. The door's open, you just need to decide as her to walk through it. So remember, babe, every choice is a decision, even the ones you don't choose. You're still choosing. So choose her. Have a beautiful day. If you've gotten value from today's episode, make sure you subscribe and leave a 5-star review. And if you're ready for more support in building regulated wealth strategies, check out the link in the show notes. Have a beautiful day.